Do you know what it's like to be unsure about something you want to do? You want to give it a try. You want it to work out. You want it to be true, but you just can't be for sure. Uncertainty sometimes leaves us with a choice: live with our assumption or find out what's real. It's easy to live according to our assumptions. We've all done it. We've refused to talk to a person, assuming they don't want to hear from us. We've declined applying for jobs, assuming we won't get hired. And we've walked past unlocked doors, assuming we can't open them. But here's the thing: there's no proof because we haven't experimented. We didn't say hello, apply, make the ask, or knock. While it can be intimidating, I think it's better to know rather than live with assumptions. There's a good example of this in scripture. One day, the disciples are on a boat by themselves, struggling to paddle through wind, waves, and darkness. Then Jesus shows up walking on the water toward them. But when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were terrified, saying, "It is a ghost!" And they cried out in fear. But immediately, Jesus spoke to them and said, "Take heart, it is I. Do not be afraid." When the disciples see the figure, they assume it's a ghost, but they have no proof. To offer them proof and take away their ghost assumptions, Jesus says, "It is I." Now they have a choice. They can say, "No, I don't care what that ghost says. It's not Jesus. My assumption is right." They can say, "Okay, cool. It's Jesus, but I don't need to prove it." Or they can say, "I want to see for myself." Of the 12 disciples on the boat, Peter wants to experiment. He wants personal proof. So he says back to the mysterious figure, "Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water." Jesus says, "Come." So Peter got out of the boat, started walking on the water, and came toward Jesus. But when he noticed the strong wind, he became frightened, and beginning to sink, he cried out, "Lord, save me!" Jesus immediately reached out his hand and caught him, saying to him, "You of little faith, why did you doubt?" Why did you doubt now? You had faith to step out of the boat and walk on the water. You were doing it. Why did you doubt? I think I understand Peter. I can get how a person can believe, make progress, and then sink. I've done it myself. Start, progress, and then stop. I think this behavior results from undermining how far our faith has got us. The point I want to make here is that Peter has already faced his fears and overcame them. He saw the wind and became afraid, but to be clear, this is the same weather they were struggling to paddle through. It's the same weather he stepped out of the boat into. Peter is frightened by the elements he has already overcome and has proof. But now he's afraid. Here's the thing about fear: it's not defeated by one punch. We don't knock it out and never have to deal with it again. Fear has to be overcome every day and every step of the way toward a meaningful outcome. So to me, overcoming fear is not eliminating it from our lives. Rather, I believe we overcome fear by acknowledging it and continuing to move forward. We can do this by remembering. Remember what you feared when you became interested in taking a leap of faith. Remember what you feared when you got out of the boat. Remember what you feared when you took your first step, second, third, and fourth. I want you to look back because I want you to see all the fears you stepped over to get where you are. When we recall what we overcame by faith before, it strengthens our faith that we can overcome it again. There will be points, matter of fact, many points in our journey when we look around and notice something frightening. But the Lord is always before us, calling us forward to a meaningful outcome, challenging us to believe in God and ourselves. And when we become afraid and sink, there Jesus is before us to pick us up and place us on solid ground. The Lord is good. But as LeVar Burton said on Reading Rainbow, don't take my word for it. My friends, experiment with Jesus for yourself, and like Peter, Peter, you'll see. Peace.